Hello, everyone. Welcome to this month's edition of Power Talks. I hope you had an amazing month. Last month, we had an amazing speaker, Frida Winger and Joe on Instagram Live. And today, I'm joined by an amazing leader. I'm sure you've seen him somewhere before in our pages. He's a businessman. He's a leader extraordinaire. And we're so honored to have him today. So we will take a deep dive today as we talk about just different elements of leadership. Because as you all know, Inuka Powertalks is all about equipping you, the leader. We are your leadership companion. As you take the leadership journey, we want to journey with you. We want to help you become more effective in what you do. And you can always count on us to provide you with helpful tools and stuff that can make you become a better leader. So today we'll be looking at a couple of things. One is, how do you run towards the fire as a leader, all right? And we'll discuss what that looks like. How do you develop promotable teams? And how do you stay sharp in your leadership? So ladies and gentlemen, drum rolls. I want to introduce our speaker or my guest for today. His name is Gichane, and I'll allow him to introduce himself. Karibu sana, Don.
Asante sana. I don't know how to introduce myself after that long, you look so prepared, but my name is Don Gichane, and I am, what's the best way of putting it? I am a businessman and also a Christian businessman, and just doing the little I can to make sure the world moves forward.
Yeah. Karibu sana, Don. That's a simplified introduction. And so throughout this conversation, I'll help unpack who Don is. And so Don, as we get straight into our conversation for today, fires here, by fires I mean crisis in leadership, happen at different points in life. There are some that are internally, they start internally, whether it's within an organization, within a family, within a business, and then there's now external fire or external threat. Who starts fires, by the way? Is there anyone who starts crisis?
They call them arsonists. These are people who love to start problems.
Okay.
I look at life from two perspectives as far as the question you just asked. You're either a firefighter or you're the guy who starts the fire. You're the arsonist. There are people who are attracted to starting fires. By the way, physically, I love to start fires. Physically. Yeah, I'm not talking about in a business sense. But every time I go visit my folks, they're like, start the fire. You're here. The fire guy is here, right?
Yeah.
But from the business perspective, or let me say from a marketplace perspective, I love to turn off fires, to switch them off.
Yeah.
I have friends, by the way, it's funny that you asked this, but I have friends, by the way, who tell me many times when I'm talking to them, I say, give me a minute, I need to put off a fire. And I walk off, right? Fires begin, which are crises, they begin because of people and things people do.
Yeah.
Things people say or lack of something that's not being done. Fires can come up at any place. Fires can either implode from inside. In fact, even in biology, it's funny, let me digress now. In biology, there is there's an ailment that is actually a fire-causing ailment. And they call it instant human combustion.
Okay.
There are people who actually just catch real fire. I'm talking about the human body, but that's not.
So where does it come from?
It's internal.
Okay.
It's something chemical, and fire just begins. Yeah, but that's not what we're here for. In business, people like to start fires based on things that they're not doing, things that they say, speaking amiss, not managing expectations. And especially that one, I can tell you, has started so much or so many fires in the past. In different, as long as people are together, fire will always begin.
So it's inevitable that you will encounter fire somewhere in your journey. It's inevitable.
Absolutely.
Whether you're not the one who started it, whether someone else has started it, it's external. No one was expecting it. So you will encounter fire.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fire comes as long as people are in a room.
And this is not the burning bush fire. This is
not the burning bush experience because the burning bush did not burn. The problem with fires is emotions are involved, bottom lines are affected.
Yeah.
You come into a place where people stop to trust each other, and especially people who are working in the same team.
Yeah.
One of the things that causes a lot of destruction is fire that causes mistrust in any institution, any grouping, or any people who are supposed to work together as a team. Mistrust is the biggest thing, or let me say the biggest, the thing that really gets affected the most is trust.
Okay. So I've been with Don in meetings, and like he said, he picks up a phone and he says, "Excuse me, I need to put out a fire." So Don, what is your default response to situations that require you to respond as a leader and to put out or to neutralize? Let me use that word. As a leader, because you're a leader, the fact that people are calling you means that they look at you as a solution provider. They look at you as someone who's able to step in and calm whatever chaos or crisis is going on. So as a leader, do you have like a framework or a system or a way of response to such things? Is it running away? Because I know there are people who get scared. They're like, keep the fire away from me. I don't want to deal with anything. But when I look at you and the many calls you receive, you're like, I think we should give you like a horse pipe. Just, take us through the mindset of a fire fighter. Let me use that name.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a very packed question. All fires have a source. And everything must be handled from the grassroots.
Okay.
In a physical fire situation, many times when the firefighters get on site, they want to understand where did it emanate from? Where did this fire begin? Because when you understand where it began, or where the fire is beginning from, then you're able to know how best to deal with it. Now, if you come into a place and it's a gas explosion that caused the fire, there's a particular way to deal with it.
Yeah.
If it is a fuel tanker that's rolled over, there's a way to deal with it.
Yeah.
Understanding the source of the fire helps you understand the treatment of putting out the fire. Now, for leaders, and I believe one of the strengths leaders have, or should possess, is understanding how to go back to the root of a problem.
Okay.
Many times we are putting band-aids around a problem instead of going to the root cause and uprooting the problem. As a leader, I believe, I say for myself, what has worked for me is to look at a situation and be very objective about it.
Yeah.
Don't be subjective based on who has brought the issue to you.
Okay.
Look at the issue, figure out what's the actual issue. It may be a very small issue, and by the way, fires are started by a very small thing, a matchstick. And many times, not understanding the root cause of the problem, you could end up becoming fuel to the fire.
Okay.
You can end up becoming, the catalyst of spreading the fire. There are wildfires now that go on in Australia and California every year without fail.
Yeah.
And many of those start on their own.
Okay.
Now, the treatment of it is to come and surround the area that has the fire by putting an agent that will cause the fire not to go outside of that circumference.
Okay.
Leaders are called to come and put a hedge around the fire and quickly quash the fire. And that's why I believe leaders should run towards the fire and figure out quickly and switch off the fire.
Okay.
Because fires in any organization will burn up and consume anything that is good, anything that is working, and anything that is profitable to that organization.
That's amazing, Don. So how can a leader, as we're still on this conversation about fire, how do you make sure you're not burnt as a leader? Because sometimes, because of our abilities and our, we are switched on in terms of situations. We want to dive in, solve, help, lift a hand, pour our resources on some things, just to put out the fire. But how do you keep yourself fireproof as a leader? Because there are some places where you can get to, I believe, you can get burned, your reputation can be tarnished, your name could be dragged along not so good places. So how do you remain fireproof as a leader in an environment where the fire is just raging on and on?
Okay. Anybody who runs towards the fire should be ready to get burnt. One of the fallacies that we have as leaders is that every decision we make will be right.
Okay.
We must be ready to do a nosedive in a scenario or situation where we may not even understand how deep the waters are.
Okay.
But the action of stepping out is what's most vital first. To know that, look, I'm going in there as quote unquote Superman, not with a heroic ending, but man, I need to switch off this problem that I'm seeing. Leaders get burnt all the time. And you must be ready and prepared to get burnt. Now, what you must also prepare for is an expected end.
Okay.
If you get burnt in the line of duty, but the fire is put out, then that's good burning.
Okay.
Many times leaders go into a place and don't ever think that you will put out a fire and everything remains the same. There's also rebuilding. There's also coming back and figuring out, okay, so what were the actual adverse effects of this fire? And how do I put the team back together? Having an overview of the end result and what you want to get to or where you want to get to is actually more important than thinking about yourself not getting burnt. Leaders many times get involved or get even worse off because of taking sides or picking sides based on emotional appeal.
Okay.
Get your emotions out. You know, I believe in creating relationships, even in the workplace, and that's great. And I think it's healthy in being able to move things forward. Where it becomes unhealthy, then that can cost you more. So get into the room, even if it's someone you really have a good rapport with, be ready to duke it out on the table on a particular issue objectively, and walk out of the room and go have coffee. Be ready to lead. Be ready to lead.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to someone who is never scared of fires, never scared of putting them out, never scared of difficult situations. And I couldn't think of anyone better to help us handle these situations because leadership is not a line of best fit. We don't have, it's not a path of least resistance. There are people involved, there are emotions involved, like Donna's talked about. And I want to segue into the second question, Don. During such times, how do you keep teams encouraged and motivated? Because there are those who start the fire. There are times in an organization or in a group setting, everyone knows this is a problem, but you're their leader. So how do you keep the rest of the crew still motivated, still encouraged, still coming out, putting their best foot forward and doing what they're supposed to do, despite them knowing there's a fire going on, them knowing that our leader is trying to put out a fire, but we're also feeling a bit, we're not sure if this fire will finish us, if our leader is able to do it. How do you keep those guys encouraged during such times?
I'm a believer that everyone has something to offer. Everybody has something to offer. I don't believe that people sit in a space and there's nothing good that you can pull out of them. Now, even for those troublemakers, and I like to use the analogy of even in a family setting, when you have children, they're not all the same. They'll all behave different, even coming from the same father and mother. They all have different gifting, talents, characters. And that's why even within a family setting, you can tell this child is a leader. And this other one is a follower. And this other one, is a good listener. This other one is not a good listener. You're able to deduce that. And I believe for you to be a good leader, you must be able to pick out or pinpoint what someone is good at and what the other is not good at. Now, remember, it's really about strengthening the weaknesses or the weak spots and then trying to figure out how does the team work together as a whole. Now, in a space where you have troublemakers and others who are not, how do you keep everyone incentivized to move forward? By pulling out what is good in them, by making sure that you're constantly encouraging them, that you're constantly putting them in a situation where they end up shining. Sometimes leaders who, I had a case yesterday, we were discussing with someone, you have a leader who is intimidated by a junior. It should never be. In fact, one of my mentors years ago told me this. He said, Don, surround yourself with people who are sharper than you, who are better than you. They will always make you look good.
That's good.
Leaders need to be with people that are shining.
Okay.
Cause your team to shine. They make you look good. There's no two ways around that, right? But for leaders who are intimidated by their juniors, you will constantly quash the abilities that they have to make you look good. And that's not a good leader. I think with teams, in a place, in a setting, make sure you pick, your guys, figure out what it is, tell them well done, encourage them. Give them more opportunities. Push them out there to get to the best. Because sometimes you may have the best team, but you don't know their potential. A good coach brings out.
Let me ask you, Don, something on that. What if your best performing person is a diva? There's actually a book called Leading the Unleadable. And it talks about misfits, divas, superstars. There are those people who are like that.
They're difficult.
They're difficult, but give them a task.
They'll get it done.
100%, 150%, they'll get it done. So how do you lead divas? And this one is good for the business, is good for the organization, is good for the progress of where you're going. Because sometimes I think the fallacy or the misunderstanding we have as leaders is that we will end up liking everyone we're working with, that we will have, I want to work with everyone who's like Pete, and this is the group, if I was to choose, these are the people I'd choose. But sometimes you inherit teams or you inherit a business. You've come from outside, you're a manager, you've inherited a team. And then there's a diva. But the diva is a superstar.
The diva superstar.
Like, how do you move forward with divas? I don't know if I have a better word for them, but let me just call it that.
No, I think I kind of understand the question in this sense. Look, leadership is not an easy thing. There's a reason you're called the leader. It means you must lead in every situation. That diva is a fire situation. How do you lead in that fire situation is really the key. If you're not able to lead people like that, then you're not worthy to be called a leader. To understand that not everyone is created the same, not everyone will, there was a song back in the day, I don't want to quote it, but everyone is created differently, right? Everyone is created differently. There are big people, there are small people, there are tall people, there are short, right? But you've got to embrace everyone as they come. As a leader, it is actually your role to figure out how do I make this person fit within this team to get the anticipated result, the end goal, to be able to win. I'll give you a case in point. Americans and the Western world and the Eastern world are completely different in the way they operate. The West, the end result justifies the means. Meaning, I will run you over as long as we get to the end.
The result is
when you get to the East and you get to Asia and places like that, them they're more about let's relate, and then we will probably be able to get to the place we want to get to. As a leader, choose the route you're going to take. But I can tell you, I have found reason and being rational and sitting down with people as being an easier route to be able to get everyone on board and everyone routing for the one cause to get to the end. The other route, you may get to the end, but people will be hurt. People will be burnt. People will be burnt out. People will be wondering, man, I don't want to. Create an environment where people want to come to work. Create an environment where people are working, even if you as a leader, you're upset. Make people feel that they are each of them is a leader in their own right. That's the only way to get people moving forward. Understand people and make people work together.
That's really good. That's really good. As we wrap up a conversation about teams, because we've talked about the fire, we're talking about teams because you're a leader, because there's a group that you're leading, there's a function you're leading, there's an organization that you're leading. And the final question I have for you, Don, on this teams and all, is how do you create promotable teams or promotable individuals? I have the benefit of having worked with you in different spaces, and somehow anyone who comes and works with you is quickly promoted or is desirable as a team member for other projects, all right? And this could be people who probably previously no one could see them or no one thought they had the potential, but somehow when they come into your hands and into your leadership, it's like now everyone starts noticing their potential, their abilities, they're able to do this. How do you create that environment and build a promotable team? Because I believe one of the calls for leadership is actually to front people, all right?
Absolutely.
It's to parade amazing people and to give them platforms and opportunities. And I find that you do that very well. So maybe you can take us through, because I know leaders who leave the people they work with in a very worst scenario and worst state. So how do you create a team that everyone wants to work with?
Thank you for for the flattery. But look, I really believe, going back to what I said earlier, everyone has something to offer.
Yeah.
If you come into a scenario, if you come into a place, if you come into a space with that attitude, then you will see the good in people. I believe in seeing the good in people, not the bad, not just the negative, not the weaknesses.
Yeah.
Don't focus on those things. People who focus on those things get those things as a result.
Yeah.
But if you focus on the good things, then you're able to grow teams and individuals into the place that they need to be.
Yeah.
But secondly, there's also the, you've got to have an attitude of looking out, figure out quickly, is this person a good administrator? Then allocate them roles that will cause them to shine.
Okay.
I think as leaders, we have to be so open to understanding what is it that we are here for? What is it that we're trying to accomplish?
Okay.
If you don't understand the vision, or if you don't understand the end goal, then it'll be very hard, even given the best set of people.
Okay.
It's like a soccer match. If you don't understand that the goal is to put that leather ball into the net, then you can have the best guys, but if they don't understand that, then you will never score a goal.
Okay.
Selling your vision and making sure every team member understands the vision and buys into the vision causes you to have a winning team. Those people, once they come in, they understand, be very clear as a leader, this is the direction we're going, this is what we're hoping to accomplish, and this is the route by which we're going. And then on top of that, or a part B of that is listen to your team.
Yeah.
Don't be the leader who understands everything, knows it all, and it's my way or the highway. Let the team also participate so that they can have buy-in. If your team has no buy-in, you will just be flogging a dead horse. You will have the best guys playing for your team. You will be the coach that is shouting left, right, and center, but a very junior team will score you and win the game.
Wow. That's some good stuff. That's some good stuff. And I hope this helps you know how to handle the people that you have, because it's not by chance. You can't chance this as a leader. You can't accidentally gravitate towards success as a leader. It's highly intentional. You have to think about it. It's very strategic. You have to ask yourself some hard questions, And so as we have this conversation and as we have this Power Talks, our hope is that anyone under your care as a leader, that they can actually become, their value can be quadrupled as individuals, that they can become amazing at what they do, and they can become better citizens, better assets, both to you, to the organization, and even possibly to greater and bigger organizations, And Don, I want to maybe just pack the conversation on teams there, and then ask this second last question. I have many questions for Don today.
Clearly.
Just second last. How can people experience your brand better, as a leader, okay? There are those leaders who are detached. There are those leaders who are not felt. But how can leaders be felt more? How can you build a brand as a leader that better felt by people. I know your brand, it's felt. You walk into a room, everyone feels you, you know. Whether it's people are having meetings, people will not help but notice that you walked in.
I don't know if that's a jab or if that's a compliment.
So, but it's everywhere. You're highly noticeable. So how can leaders build noticeable brands? Yeah.
Look, many years ago, I took up a assignment that was quite out of my character, and that was selling stuff. So I was a salesperson. With a salesperson, part of the training that we went through back in the day was you've got to go into a place and you've got to be able to sell. That's the bottom line. You go into the space, read the room quickly, and try and sell or close the deal.
Yeah.
Now, a salesperson who doesn't believe in their product is gonna fail.
Okay.
You've got to believe the product enough to be able to sell it. People don't subscribe to products, people subscribe to people.
Okay.
So if the right person walks into the room and sells you a product, even if you don't end up buying that particular thing, they may end up selling you something else. Because you must believe in yourself enough to be sellable.
Okay.
If you don't believe in your own brand, nobody else is going to buy that brand.
Okay.
Because if you yourself don't believe in your brand, how can I subscribe to that brand?
Okay.
People read people. When you walk into a space, people can read your confidence level, your preparedness, whatever you're teaching, is it right?
Yeah.
People know people who are winging stuff, and people don't like to hang out with wingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You've heard. Believe in your brand, believe in what you have to offer, and you just become a magnet. And things just move. It's interesting that such people can sell you anything.
Absolutely.
They can sell you a cold drink in winter and you'll buy it.
You will buy it.
So because leadership is about influence, it's also important the kind of brand and how we are felt by people as we lead them. Final question, Don.
Sure.
Final question. What are some of the daily things you do daily that help you stay sharp in your leadership?
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a brilliant question. I'll tell you what has helped me. Figure out just 3 things you want to do on that day as the must things, the things you must accomplish, and stick to that. 3 things. Don't try to do 20 or 30 things or 40 things. Just figure out 3 things that you can do on that day and be able to move forward.
Okay.
Number 2, get up every day knowing it's a fresh day. It's a fresh start. It's like a rejig. You've been given another chance to do that which yesterday you probably did not accomplish very well.
Okay.
Every day is a reset. Kind of like when you sneeze, your brain resets. Just know that every new day is an opportunity for you to shine. Say, today I'm going to shine. Forget about what happened yesterday or the day before or the week before. Just say, today I'm going to shine.
Yeah.
So meaning the problem of yesterday, you've got to leave it in yesterday.
Okay.
The issue you had with one of your employees or one of your teammates or whatever that happened yesterday, leave it yesterday.
Okay.
As long as you duke out, sit down, don't sweep anything under the carpet, talk it over, resolve that issue, and be able to move forward. Being decisive is my number 3 point.
Okay.
Be decisive.
Okay.
Leaders must be decisive. We are called to make decisions, even if they're not the most popular. Even if they're not the right decision, stick to it and move forward.
Yes.
Make that decision. Indecision is also a decision.
Okay.
Sitting on the fence is a decision, and you will see its fruit over time. Be decisive even if it's wrong. Wrong leaders or a wrong decision doesn't mean a bad leader.
Okay.
A wrong decision does not mean that you're not good at leading.
Okay.
But let me tell you, indecision says that you're a bad leader.
Hey. Well done. Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. From one of the most amazing leaders our nation has in business, in church, in life, in family. We've had such an amazing time with him. I wish we had more time just to talk about more stuff, but he is one of the most influential people for us at Inuka, celebrates us, pushes us. All these things I've been asking him are things that he does even to us. And so, Don, thank you very much.
Asante.
The last quick fire. This is a quick fire session. So
You're
2
tru-
seconds.
you're
2
truly a
seconds.
person.
This is a quick fire session.
Sure.
All right. So 2 seconds. I have a
Okay.
couple of questions here. Just shoot straight your answer as it pops in your brain. 3 words that best describe your current work.
My current
Work.
work. You've got to think as a leader also.
It's a quick fire session.
My current work.
3 words.
Three
that
words.
define your current work.
Bigger than me. Huge. Visionary.
Okay.
Impactful.
Good. Biggest obstacle currently influencing your business.
People.
Okay.
Processes.
Okay. Best and worst career advice you've been given.
Don't go for it. It's too big.
Okay. That's the worst.
Worst.
Best,
Go for it.
go for it. Okay. If you could switch jobs with someone, who will it be?
President Uhuru Kenyatta.
Well done. Well done. Ladies and gentlemen, we have someone who will be running for office sometimes. Let me continue. Window or aisle seat?
Window.
Okay. What keeps you awake at night?
Movies.
Secret talent that no one knows about?
I can sing. I love to cook meat.
Okay, okay. People will be surprised if they knew.
I think people know me, man.
No.
Oh my God.
They will be surprised if they knew.
How young I am. Now I'm going into flattery. I gotta flatter myself, right?
All right, so
man, that's funny.
He's a young man. He's a very young man.
I'm young at heart. I'm so young at heart.
Final one. What are your 3 most overused phrases?
It is well.
It is well. Number 2.
Let me put out this fire.
Number 3.
It's gonna be okay.
I have one that I don't know if they can put on camera.
Which
Man, nigga.
Man! That's a reason for man, nigga. It's gonna be well. You're too
All
funny,
right.
man.
We're done. Thank you so much,
Asante.
Don.
Wow.
Thank you for
Thank you for
joining
having
us
me.
for this session of Power Talks. We'll catch you next time. Join us, share this with someone. God bless you, and keep leading. Asante.